right, Stacy Ann in Baltimore, Maryland. Stacy, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. How are you,
Good.
Brad?
What's going on?
Okay, I live in Baltimore, Maryland
Yes.
since, well, I am a national from Jamaica. I live in Baltimore, Maryland from August. And I was told whenever I went to look about my account that I need a tax ID number. So I don't have any papers, and I was wondering if it's a good idea to go ahead and get a tax ID number.
Well, to get a tax ID number, first of all, you have to file a tax return. You don't need for most banks, I mean, although some banks may have their own internal policies, but you don't need a taxpayer identification number unless you're opening up an account that is interest bearing. If you're opening up an account that's non-interest bearing, the bank doesn't need a social security number because they don't have to declare anything to the Treasury or the IRS about any interest that you may have earned by keeping your money in the bank.
Okay.
But by all means, if you want to get a taxpayer identification number, that's fine. But that would require you to file a tax return for the year 2020. And hopefully, you didn't work in your first 90 days of entry because then it's a misrepresentation. So what income did you earn? Maybe in November or December, a couple of dollars. But yeah, I mean, if you want to, file a tax return. But that's the only way to get a taxpayer ID. You attach a W-7 form to your 1040 return, and I assume you were not paid. If you did work, you were not paid on the books. So then you would treat yourself as an independent contractor. I have now told you everything I know about taxes.
Okay. So I filled out a W-7. So you're saying don't file the W-7.
No, I'm saying you can't just fill out a W-7 and just file and say I want a taxpayer ID. You have to do it in conjunction with a 1040 tax return. So if you want a taxpayer ID, then you have to go to a tax preparer.
I have to go to where?
Tax preparer.
Oh, tax preparer.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Brad. You've been so helpful.
Good, great.
Okay. And I love your show.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Spread the word, Stacy.
Okay.
Okay. All right, let's go to Nehemiah in Bakersfield, California. Nehemiah. Nehemiah.
Hello.
Hi, Nehemiah. How are you?
Yeah, cool.
Nehemiah.
This is Nehemiah.
Nehemiah, you're live
from California.
Nehemiah, you're live on the air. Ask your question, please.
Okay. Actually, for
Yeah, you're breaking up, and all you're saying is So let's get you organized with your question, and we'll come back to you. Let's go to May in Mount Vernon, New York. May.
Hi, I have a question
Yes.
saying I filed in, I sent my paperwork in May. The only response that I got back from them is that they received it. Now, I have an account online, and I tried to change my address because I'm in the process of moving, but it's saying that during this adjudication process, I cannot change the address. What do I do?
Just mail in an AR-11. You don't have to do it online then. Do it by mail.
Oh.
Okay? Because you have to. You're allowed to change your address. Nobody says you have to stay where you are.
Okay.
And if you have a problem with the online thing, come see us. But you can just fill out a paper form and do an AR-11 and submit a copy of your receipt notice and say, here's my receipt notice, here's the AR-11, I'm moving.
Okay.
Right.
Now, if I want to keep my same address, not keep my same address, but if I have someone collecting my mail, and then I move.
Are you moving down the street? What are you doing?
No, out of state.
Okay, no, then that would be some sort of misrepresentation. So you would need to move your case to the new state.
So I can't leave without completing the case.
Correct. You would do exactly what I told you to do, but just make sure that somebody collects your mail because there could be a lag of several months before they change your address.
So I can change it?
I just told you. If they don't allow you to do it online for whatever reason, some computer glitch, you fill out an AR-11, you attach your receipt notices, and you write them a letter from where that receipt notice came from.
Okay. What does it mean by adjudication process?
I don't know what adjudication process is. Adjudication means that they're processing your case.
Okay.
All right.
All righty. Thank you so much.
All right. Let's go to Rona in Rockville, Maryland. Rona. Hi, Rona.
Hello?
Hi, Rona.
Hi, Brad.
How you doing?
I'm doing fine.
What's going on?
My sister passed. My mother filed for her and she passed. How do I get my niece to come to America?
Your sister filed for...
My mother filed for her
And she
and her
passed
daughter.
away. And she passed away.
Yeah.
Okay. How old is the daughter?
She's turning 13 this year.
Okay. Who's watching the daughter now?
I have a sister in Jamaica that my mother filed for and she's going to come too.
Okay.
I want to know if my niece can come with her.
No. Where is the father?
The father... She don't have a father. Her father abandoned her when my sister was alive.
Okay. And who in this group is a U.S. citizen?
Everybody's a U.S. citizen.
Okay. So somebody has to do what's called an orphan petition for this child. Child has no mother, no father. You have to do what's called a pre-adoption here in New York or whatever state you're in, Maryland. And at the same time, strip the father who abandoned this child as a baby of his parental rights. So now the mother's passed, the father's stripped of his parental rights, this child is an orphan, and you're going to bring this child up as an orphan. It's a completely separate case. You just can't, your sister can't just go in to the embassy when she's getting her green card and say, I've been taking care of my niece, I want her to come too. That's not how it works. So you have to do a separate orphan petition. We can help you. Hold on one second. Thanks for watching. For more Brad Show Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.